everybody, I'm going to do a quick video on replacing the slave cylinder and the master cylinder using the Rodney Dickman slave cylinder master cylinder kits. Alright, now I'm down in the driver's side footwell, and I'm disconnecting the rod from the master cylinder. Just a matter of pulling this pin out of here. We loosen up the master cylinder, use a 14mm wrench and disconnect the line. If you take the bolts out of the master cylinder first, you won't be able to get any leverage on it to get the fitting off. Ball socket with an extension on the side, and use my 3/8" electric impact gun. Put it in my little tray. Alright, and this is ready to come off. There you go. Alright, on the back side of the car now, I need to take off this louver panel. I just have these screws in here like this to just kind of hold it. You can see what kind those are in case you need some. I just had them laying around. They seem to work pretty good for holding the louvers down. Put that in my tray, pull the louver off, put that in the trunk, and then let's move on to the intake. Just need to loosen these up a little bit. Alright, I'll start removing the slave cylinder. It's 14mm. To remove the line underneath, I recommend you do it before you undo the bolts, otherwise you'll never get any leverage getting that off of there. There we go. Then we'll use a 13mm deep well socket. Tray. Alright, got that one into my parts tray. Here comes the slave cylinder. There we go. That's it. Before I install the slave cylinder, I'm going to pull this rod out here. You can see the whole length of it. And just put a dab. Just a tiny bit. I'm going to leave the cap in place on the for the hydraulic line until I'm ready to plug the line back in again, just so no dirt or any crud gets in there. This won't go on all the way until you start tightening down the two bolts on the side. The other thing is make sure that, hopefully you can see it, make sure that the rod end goes into the arm, or little cup there, going for the clutch mechanism. There, I'm going to start off by getting the nuts on each side of this, right on the studs. Just get them started. There we go. Just hold it on there, and then do the back side. Got to kind of contort yourself to get in there. Started. All right. off the bottom, like so. Let's go ahead and take this line, it's all clean, put it back in there, thread it by hand so I don't cross thread it. Alright, getting the last couple turns on this line here. You should feel it should just tighten up all of a sudden, and you know that it's on the flange there. Okay. Now we'll just put it into the hole. I'm not putting the bushing on until it's inside, just because I don't want to lose it. I should be able to push it in and it should seat. I'm just going to leave that on there. There we go. One and two. This part's just rubber here. That'll actually move out of the way if you need to. Don't drop it. Okay, there we go. Two hands method to get one bolt on there. Hold it between both fingers there. Finger on each hand and then get it threaded on there. And once it's threaded on there, then I can tighten it down. There we go. Alright, I'm using my electric impact and my long socket. Alright, so I got my ratchet now. Let's tighten these down. Don't want to put the line on yet because there's a procedure to, yep, that's a rooster. There you go. Those are tight. There's a procedure to bleed it, so I'm not going to put the line on right now. So stand by. Alright, get this bushing ready to go. I'm going to put a tiny bit of lube on there just so that it doesn't squeak or anything. I'm in the driver's side footwell, and we're going to go ahead and connect the shaft from the master cylinder up to the pedal. So I got my lightly greased bushing. Go ahead and slide that onto the shaft. Do that first, followed by the push rod, which should go on. There you go. Followed by the pin. The pin should be fairly easy to push in there. Just into the hole and push. There we go. That's it. Next step, I'm going to bleed the master cylinder. And this is included with the Rodney Dickman master cylinder. So remove this little cap right there. I'm going to pull out the plastic adapter, insert it in there. I'm just going to leave it finger tight, just as tight as I can get it by hand. Okay, put the hose on the end, like so. And you notice there's a paper clip that's included. This paper clip onto the hose, like so, and run this all the way to the bottom. Try not to make a mess. Brake fluid's highly corrosive. I recommend, if you're going to be splashing or anything, wear some safety glasses. You can really hurt your eyes with it. And now what we're going to do is I'm just going to gently push the pedal. Alright, pushing the pedal. Just getting all the air out of the master cylinder. I'm just going to do some short little strokes on the pedal. You can see there's some air. Get that out of there. Alright, once all the air is out of the master cylinder, we're going to go ahead and disconnect this line right here. We're going to hook this line back up. this right there. Alright, tighten it up, then use 14 millimeter just to finish tighten it. There we go. Alright, this time I'm going to try something a little bit new. I'm going to try the Rodney Dickman slave cylinder bleeder, which is basically a one-way valve. So first thing I need to do is remove the bleeder, which is a 12 millimeter. It should come out fairly easily. Alright, don't drop it. There's the bleeder. Let's put the... And looks like this one's 13 millimeter. So there we go. 13 millimeter. Snug it a tiny bit. I'm gonna get a catch basin. Alright, I got got a little catch set up for the slave cylinder. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that the reservoir is full on the clutch master cylinder, and then I'm just going to gently by hand just push the brake or the clutch pedal. Alright, a little bit of fluid coming out, and I need to put some fluid in the master cylinder. You probably need to get about 2 or 3 pumps out of that puddle before you need to add some fluid. Added more brake fluid to the master cylinder. I'm going to continue to pump the pedal. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is you got to be very careful doing this. You don't want to jam the piston into the end of the bore. So all I'm going to do is actuate the slave cylinder using this piece of wood and prying it against the exhaust pipe. There you go. And I'm not going full travel. I'm just going a little bit and let it out. A little bit. And let it out. You can tell I'm only going maybe an inch or so. Let's check the reservoir. All right, let's pump it a couple more times. Okay. Just about an inch or so. There we go. So there's some more. Don't bury it in the bore. That's all. Keep doing that until you reduce the amount of air in the system. There you go. Alright, added more fluid. Now I want to go ahead and pump the pedal a few more times. Check for leaks. Looks pretty dry. Okay, I'm gonna use my 13 millimeter, remove the bleeder, and insert the original bleeder. So I'm gonna put this one back in again. Gotta be quick about this, I'm assuming, because you don't want any air to kind of get into the system. So I'll raise this up. Okay. Alright, tighten that down. Looks good. I want to try something a little different. I just pulled the end out of the Rodney Dickman slave cylinder bleeder, and it happened to fit right on this bleeder with the one-way valve. So I'm going to open this bleeder just a little bit and bleed it a little bit more, and I've got the end going into the fluid in the catch can. open it a little bit more. There we go. Let's try that. I had to add some more fluid to the reservoir too. Alright, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to tighten this bleeder down. 12 millimeter again. Yeah, it wasn't very loose. It was still kind of tough pushing it. It's pretty good though. I got the air out of it. There we go. Drain that. Looks good. Let's get this out of here. Let's clean it all up. Everything's tight. Alright, no leaks. Everything looks good. Just give it one tighten. Just check it. Looks good. Yep. Bleeder's tight. We'll put the little cap on there. Alright, put this on here. Keep the dirt and crud out of there. Get on there. Come on. Hardest part of the job shouldn't be putting this little cap on. There you go. There. There we go. Let's press pedal a couple times. Yeah, I gotta tell you, that pedal feels amazing. Alright, I'll go ahead and put it all back together again. Some more. Alright, I just topped off the master cylinder with fluid right up to the line on the side. I'm going to put the cap back on. There we go. Okay, tighten that down until it stops. There we go. It's on there. That's good. Okay. Alright, let's start it up. Check it out. So there you go, test drive is complete. Clutch pedal feels awesome. Some of the tools that I used are on my box right there. I used 12mm, 13mm, 14mm box end open end wrench, straight blade screwdriver, 13mm deep weld socket, along with some assorted extensions, along with a hand ratchet, some needle nose pliers, and to make things a little bit easier, I used an air ratchet and also a electric impact gun, along with the Rodney Dickman bleeding system, which worked great, by the way.